learn, teach, progress, teachprogress.org. You can find the link to our videos on YouTube, the link to our Twitch channel, which is live right now. Here you will see the various mistakes in thinking that people make and the ways that people can deal with their emotions so they can get to the point where they can think clearly. The point of the room is to teach people how to think clearly so they can de-radicalize themselves. Because you'll never de-radicalize someone else, but you can de-radicalize yourself and you can help others think more clearly so they can de-radicalize themselves. But clear thinking must start with emotions that are in check. If you come in spun up, if you're already in some intense emotions, you're not going to do well. So we use the ruler system. Mirko, would you like to talk about this?
Yes. The ruler system, Ruler is a social and emotional learning program that helps people develop emotional intelligence. Ruler is an acronym for the 5 skills of emotional intelligence. Recognize, identify the emotions in yourself and others, understand the causes and consequences of those emotions, label, use a nuanced vocabulary to describe the emotions, express emotions in a way that is appropriate for the situation, and then finally regulate, use strategies to manage your emotions. So you would find one of these, and if it's on the outskirts of extreme, one way or the other, you can help regulate that into a better quadrant. So, like, even if you're in these areas, the angry and the unpleasant, you can slowly move yourself over to the more pleasant or the more hyper. If you're getting a little glum or morose, you want to start moving yourself a little bit more energetic and a little bit more pleasant. Good ways to regulate your emotions are the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique is one of the easiest mindfulness strategies designed for managing stress and anxiety, using the 5 senses to ground you in the present moment. You're supposed to look for 5 things you can see. Just stop and go like, okay, keyboard, window, desk, chair, and glass of water. Okay, things you can touch. Same, like maybe a pillow or the floor or what other your hair. Who knows? Other things like that.
Yeah, touch them, though.
Yeah,
like your shirt. Mm-hmm.
Shirt. Things you can hear.
Grass. Go touch grass.
Yes, grass is very good. Yes. 3 things you can hear. So, like, you hear your own breathing. You can hear maybe in the distance the air conditioning. Or you can hear maybe music or the television. Whatever you have going on. Okay. And 2 things you can smell. Just kind of smell around. Maybe you can smell like food you had recently or something like that. Or maybe a perfume that you wear. And taste, just kind of feel around your mouth and see what you had last. And then,
Booger's good.
God damn it, Diego,
Bite your tongue so that you can taste the blood.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
Scary.
Yeah, please don't do that.
I can't do that.
Okay, good. And that's easy ways to ground yourself. If you're feeling these super extreme emotions.
Right.
Yes.
And extreme emotions positively can be used to flip you into the negative side. And people who are extreme in a negative side can be flipped to a positive side. So if we want to be better at thinking, if we want to get smarter, we need to make sure that we're not in a hyperactive or hypoactive or a super unpleasant or super pleasant state. That's not where clear thinking comes from.
Cool. That's the ruler system. You can find these slides, like I said, on the website.
Teachprogress.org.
Yep. Any questions? We're all good. Cool. Let's see. Do you want to go over the mistakes in thinking? Or I can read again with somebody else.
Kat, have you done this?
I have, and
Okay.
I think I'd like to skip.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
There.
All right, I'll do it.
Okay.
And I'll do it short. Confirmation bias. It's true because I believe it. You look for things that you want to believe instead of looking for things that violate what you want to believe. Fastest way to get smarter. Try to disprove yourself. Next. Attribution error. If they did it, they caused it. Instead of looking at the system around somebody and all the stuff that led up to an action, instead you just say, oh, nope, it was something inside of them that decided to do that. Substitution error, accepting an answer to another question. We all want to know, like, big questions that we can't know the answer to, and so we accept an answer to something different. Like, what happens when you die? And instead of, like, trying to figure that out, you decide to go with whatever your parents told you. False equivalence. Two things seem the same but aren't. Like when there aren't two sides to an argument, but they're trying to make a debate out of it. Climate change, for example, cracking down on... or the New York Times was trying to make a debate over just canceling the 14th Amendment by executive fiat. It was obscene. Mott and Bailey, that's where you make this big, grandiose argument, like evolution causes all of our psychology, so everything is about sex. And then you're like, well, yeah, then why do people give their lives to save someone else? That doesn't optimize procreation. They're like, well, all I'm saying is that we evolved. Or let's get rid of the Department of Education. So, like, no more support for colleges or special ed? They're like, well, all I'm saying is education needs reform.
Or saying get rid of FEMA, and then when asked about it, saying, I'm just saying states should take more responsibility.
And all I'm saying is North Carolina didn't get enough support. What? Zero-sum thinking, if they win, I lose, or if they lose, I win. And this is prevalent in keeping people from thinking more deeply, because you're afraid you'll let the other side win and then you'll lose somehow, so you must hold on to your wrong or mistaken thoughts. Black and white thinking. The reason you have to have it so that they lose, so I win, which is almost always false, is because their ideas are evil and my ideas are right, or they are evil people and I am on the side of good people. And always has to be that way. Which, of course, you could both be on the wrong side. You could be a Democrat and a Republican and both have the wrong side of an issue. You could both be a Christian and an atheist and be on the wrong side of an issue. Just because there's another side to it doesn't mean either of them is necessarily correct. Gish Gallop, making lots of arguments to run away. We see this all the time, and it's a real representation of mistaken brains, right? People will just start coming up with stuff, but they're not doing it because they're trying to trick you. They're doing it because they're running away from thinking about the thing you said. So they confuse themselves, and that's how they get away. Correlation and causation, one thing followed the other, so it caused the other. All the time we see things with really long time horizons, like investment in infrastructure, and then we're like, oh, well, the things paid off this year, and in fact, it takes 5-10 years for things like that to unfold. Argument from incredulity, we get this all the time. I can't imagine that, so it can't be true. I was talking to somebody who she's a woman that says she likes cooking and cleaning. And she said she can't imagine being a woman that doesn't. So all women must like that. Therefore, no women are oppressed by the assumption they ought to be doing cooking and cleaning. Literally, this is what I heard. Oh,
Oh, Susie.
Yeah, tell my boyfriend that. He would be like, "What?
what?
Merc-
Why am I?
Grove never plays. No."
Sunk costs. I put too much in to quit now. If you put a lot of yourself into something, you want that project to succeed, you will throw good money after bad and let bad things happen. You will waste what could have been a better use of your money, your time, your effort, your heart on something that will not work out. And you should realize that. I have a friend whose marriage isn't going to work out. Probably could have gone to therapy a decade earlier, where the therapist would have said, hey, this marriage isn't going to work out. But we do this all the time with relationships and things that are emotional. We fail to let ourselves out.
Also, wars. I often like Vietnam or something like that, where you stay in way too long.
Because national honor is on the line.
Yeah, that means that if you leave too soon, they died for nothing. And it's like, no, you're just piling more bodies onto the gravesite.
Yeah, or to quote The Onion, if we close the money hole where we throw money in and catch it on fire, what are we going to do next? Close the soldier hole? Personal attack. Attacking the person, not the argument. Anyone who needs an example for this is an idiot.
Yep.
False dichotomy, it's either this or that, no other options. Now, black and white thinking is where you think there's only good, there's only bad. Zero-sum thinking is if I hurt them, it helps me. And a false dichotomy is where you're given two choices as if that means those are the choices. Like, do you want to have a mass genocide in Gaza, or do you want to have a mass genocide in Gaza and the entire place leveled? Those are your options. You got both choices. Learned helplessness. And this is something we have to fight, because we're going to feel this way as we get beaten down for trying to think clearly in a world that has reverted to religious fundamentalism, which is why we need to engage people at their own level of emotional meaning making, right? And that is, when nothing I do makes a difference, it never has. Do you know who doesn't say that? Religious fundamentalists. They believe that what they do will make a difference because God has their back. You know, the stonemason who strikes at a stone 99 times sees nothing happen, but on the 100th time, the stone splits. Moving the goalpost, changing the criteria as soon as they're met, saying, okay, we really need to have higher taxes. We really need to have education funded. We really need to make sure that there's this kind of transportation, all so that things are fair. I was listening to a report about how we need to help disadvantaged youth by having voucher systems, and how that was used to pass the law. And a decade in, the vast majority of the money is going to people who were already sending their kids to private school. Because of course it is. And what happens? The private schools jack up their rates. That's what happens. To match the voucher that's coming in. So the private school kids get an even better school, but they maintain the ability of the private school price to price out the disadvantaged kids. Hasty generalization, assuming what's true for a few is true for all. And all of us do this. This is the source of immediate bigotry. If the only encounters you have with, for example, black people are in the nightly news where they put up images of black people who have been arrested, then you will generalize to that community without thinking about all the people who aren't black, or all the people who are white but aren't on the news because of whatever system is leading to putting that picture up in public. For example, if you're wealthy enough, you're going to sue the station if they put your picture up. Unjustified appeal to authority. Someone in power said it, so it must be true, instead of someone who is an expert said it, so we should put weight to what they have to say. Gambler's fallacy: past outcomes affect future probability. When things are different, when they're independent probabilities, people think that doing it over and over again, well, it's got to work eventually, right? And you're not due to win. This isn't how it works. You can't just keep trying the same bad idea and think, well, eventually it'll turn out right. Straw man: attacking an exaggerated or misrepresented version of an argument. So if you can take someone's argument and puff it up so that there's an easy thing to attack about it and insult that instead, that's a straw man. It's what grifters do to help people make sense of the world. They make a very simple toy of the other side, and then they insult it. The way to become stronger is steel manning, which is taking the argument and making the best version of it that you can, and then talking about the best version of the argument.
Otherwise known as charitable interpretation.
Yeah, people don't like charity.
Charitable
The principle of charitable interpretation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and even beyond that, like going out of your way to try and improve them, right? Like, but red herring: distracting with an irrelevant point, which I like this example. When told about the genocide in Gaza, saying Muslims are against gays. Well, some are. Some in Gaza are. Is the consequence of that a genocide? No. So it's not a relevant counterpoint. Genetic fallacy: dismissing an idea based on its origins rather than its content. We see this subtly. People think it in the back of their mind. Oh, that's a liberal argument. Oh, that sounds like you're arguing from socialism, right? Very rarely, but sometimes they'll just say it outright and try and poison the well that way. But usually what they'll hear is some trigger word that makes them think, oh, I know where that's coming from. Shut down the thinking.
Like
Tradition fallacy.
like universal healthcare, of going like, well, that's a communist-based thing, or a socialist, and it's like, or it's for the betterment of our common man.
Or the person who said that women's work being put on women, right, that label wasn't oppressive, said I was the one being oppressive by saying that was oppression. And in my not liking the idea that she would want to live her life that way, I said, that's how my wife lives. That is my life. Also, my wife has a PhD and does independent research. So, like, everyone has their own configurations, but very often they'll label it as coming from somewhere that is good enough to be dismissed. Tradition fallacies: arguing that something is right solely because it's been accepted or practiced for a really long time. Well, that's just the way we do it around here. Anchoring and adjustment: relying heavily on the first piece of information, particularly for numbers. And anchoring is crazy. It can work even if the numbers aren't related to the thing you're talking about. Just hearing a low number somewhere, like on the radio, will get you to bid lower in an auction.
Yeah, and that's the last one.
Here we go. I would also like to add framing effects, and we'll fill it in a bit. Framing effects are where people will take a risk if they think they're going to lose, but they'll take the sure thing if they think they're going to gain. So, if I say you're guaranteed $1,000, or you can roll a 6-sided die, and on a 6, you get $6,000. People usually take the $1,000. If I say I'm going to take $1,000 from you, or I roll a 6-sided die, and I take. Wait, I always get this backwards. Oh. I'm going to take $6,000 from you, or if on a 6-sided die you roll a 1, I'll take 1,000 from you. People will go with the 1. They'll roll to try and get it, right? Damn it, I always get these numbers backwards when I do this. I
Are
gotta
you
get better
asking
at this.
6 people? Because if I got 6 buddies
Yeah, let's
that are
talk about
getting
this.
the
Let
option,
me try and figure
we're
this
gonna
out.
roll until we get a 6th, and then everyone else is gonna take the guaranteed money, and then we split it amongst us.
Okay. So here's the problem. They're not independent. Or they're independent rolls, right? So if you're due to have a positive outcome, then you can keep rolling. But if they're independent, then the risky thing that you do. Yeah, but you're right. If you can spread that risk around, it reduces the risk, right? Then you equally spread that out. That's exactly what insurance does. Also, if you frame it as I'm losing out on 6,000 instead of gaining 1,000, then you say, oh, well, I'll definitely take the risk to not lose out on 6,000.
Oh, man, you guys are getting into stats and probabilities. I love it.
Yeah, I
Oh,
gotta
man.
get better.
I gotta-
better positive.
I gotta-
get better at negative.
I got $1 billion business idea.
Okay, because I got one. I was watching Big Bang Theory. I apologize, and because I watched Young Sheldon, and now I have to figure out more about these characters.
They're
And
brilliant.
Sheldon's mom idea was to put sins on birds. What are they called? Pigeons, clay pigeons, and then have people shoot the sins. That's brilliant. Okay. What's going to make it $1 billion, Elder? Because apparently people are not on board with my church of shooting your sins.
Yeah. Are you an organ donor? Or donating your body to science?
Organ, yeah.
Cool. Are you aware that where your body goes is really just a roll of the dice? You might get blown up by the military. You might get left out in a field just to rot. What if I told you my business can guarantee that your body goes to the field you want? And if you're a paranoid person, you don't have to have the organ donor on your card if you're worried that they're going to let you die or something like that. And, hear me out, I'm willing to give you $500 right now
For my
for
body.
a contract for your body when you die.
And I decide which industry it goes, like what's done with the body.
Yep.
I think
Well, you-
dude wants to sell your organs. I'm gonna be honest.
I was gonna
Well,
say,
I'm
yeah,
okay with that because
Yes,
I'm
okay.
not using them.
Exactly. And on my end, and this is what the government does, this is what all of the middleman industry does, they sell the body to the people that need it for $5,000 to $10,000.
Wow.
Yes. Now, here's where it gets really good, because that's alone a good business structure. Essentially, all I'm doing is undercutting the current market, which is almost invisible. People don't realize it's a market.
Do you have
Right.
customers?
So I undercut
Like
it.
a sell my body app. Like
Yep.
I get the
Okay,
app and then I have
and
$500.
Get this.
It's amazing.
This part is where I make the real money. I'd be willing to give you
Hey, Andy.
$600 if it is in company stock. I will give you $600 worth of my company stock. So now I've established stock income shows growth. People want money, obviously. People are going to see this company and go, oh shit, that's growing real fast. They're going to put money into it. I'm going to make $1 million before I sell one body.
I'm gonna be
And
honest.
do
I
I
don't think
want
nobody's thinking that.
$500 now, and then you could like pay out large amounts of equity, right? So you're like, okay, everyone with $600, they're gonna get $60 every quarter,
Yep.
something like that, and so they get regular income. But that really high return on investment, it's a Ponzi scheme, but it's not a Ponzi scheme because you're really selling bodies.
Yes.
You could pay for the funerals.
Yeah, the stock market it'd be insane because I'd essentially be selling product without ever having to do anything. And people see the growth of the company, and the way I pay people out is by making them invest in the company.
Right, and then you bundle the bodies and you sell bundles of bodies to people. Yeah.
I
So-
would totally
because-
be on board if it wasn't towing the line of body trafficking.
Like
It's-
human
it's-
trafficking.
It's not. Technically, I'm never selling your body for anything. I'm paying you for the contract to handle your body when you die, and then anyone that I'm selling the body, I'm charging them for the service. So I'm charging them for
Can
$5,000. So
we-
your body is never a
mod-
product being sold.
A modern day Birkin hair.
So,
Burke and hair?
but you're saying you're
Yeah.
gonna keep your
Oh,
promise
kidding.
of whatever the person.
Yeah, absolutely. When you die, if you're
Okay.
contracted with us, we will do everything within our power to make sure that your body goes to the field that you wanted.
100%
Well-
sign me up.
Yeah,
That's
what's
pretty
Burke
good,
and
yeah.
hair, Andy?
Yeah, it's
I've
pretty
never heard
good.
of that.
The
What about
only
stock in that company?
the only downside is your company may be extremely ethical. It encourages other companies to not be.
Oh, there already are, right?
Yeah, but it's gonna be there's gonna be more copycats seeing that you've made an easy mill.
Andy, you're getting
Oh
reported.
no, they're gonna try and
reporting you,
undercut me
brother.
by paying people money.
I just saw a video. I just saw a video on you on YouTube attacking the.
Yeah, fuck off.
I got
Yeah, it's like Merkel. What's the worst
a
thing
good
that
guy.
happens? Another company pops up to try and undercut me by giving the public more money than I am?
No, they'll
No, you
try
have
and
another-
make a profit by stealing people and then using their bodies like immorally. Like they'll go, you know what?
What?
Skip it. Let's use prisoners and do it that
Wait,
way.
hold on.
right.
I'm
She's right. That basically
Merkel,
owns
Merkel,
yourself.
hold on. I'm super
No,
confused because this industry already exists. That's
Yeah.
what happens when you donate your body to science or be an
Yes.
organ donor. Like
Yes.
this industry already exists.
Mhm.
I'm just undercutting it by giving you money.
Oh yeah, I'm
So that
saying
you go
that,
through me.
they would start using live people.
So there's
I'm saying
only
that
there's
they'll
only
just
one
go
nation on
profit,
Earth.
profit.
There's only one nation where kidneys are in full supply for anyone that needs them. It's Iran, and that's because they pay people for their kidneys.
Wow.
That's the concern that she has, right?
Yeah, no, I can't do that. You have to be dead.
Oh, okay, I guess you're right.
We'll work on it.
Maybe I'm interpreting. Maybe I'm getting the wrong gist of what Merkel was saying. But what I'm inferring is there will be other companies who will not be as ethical as you are, who will in turn tarnish the whole industry, and people will lose trust in that business model. So it's like, well, but I can't believe you because company X said they would do this with my.
Well, what's interesting I found is that industries aren't industries anymore when they're apps. Somehow apps are the app industry, so people don't trust banks, but they trust banks if the bank is just an app.
An app, yeah.
Yeah, right? You wouldn't trust someone that was like the industry of people using their cars to give you a ride, but you trust the app to do that.
Well, yeah, I mean, but we're talking about two different things, right? Like you need banking in some form or another. You don't
You
necessarily.
gotta do something with your body.
Well, no, you don't, right? Like you don't.
Oh yeah, you actually won't be doing anything with it. Andy, what were you talking about? I lost him.
Like I said, this is $1 billion idea.
It is a great idea. Grave robbing.
It's not grave robbing. It's preemptive graving.
Yeah, I mean, people sell their plasma, right?
Yeah, I
Grave
in a
purchasing.
strange way, I feel like this is somehow the same thing as Social Security.
At least it's
Hmm.
going to use instead of just being thrown in the ground.
So, good idea, bad idea. Someone proposed prisoners selling their organs to get reduced sentences.
Ooh.
That's a terrible idea.
That is.
Ooh, they've already used those up though. Okay. Yeah, I don't have the chart in front of me. Can't type tonight.
Yeah, I'll
That's-
I'll go ahead and.
Yeah.
That was proposed in a conservative state. That was legit proposed. Yeah.
To be fair, it's not that far off from people going like for reduced sentences, go fight a fire in California. You know, on
Right,
the
you
front
are
lines.
trading off your
Yes.
body. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man, dystopia.
I wonder how hard it'd be to fake your death doing that.
Oh, like in a fire?
Yeah.
If you want to fake your death, you want to go to a bridge, like the Golden Gate Bridge, and just leave your wallet in your shoes, and then walk away. Andy, what was it that I didn't know about you're talking about?
Burke and Hare were two murderers in the Victorian time that sold bodies to
This man,
for.
he has a scam business. It's a business
Yeah.
of failure. Do not invest.
Okay.
Basically, what they did is when they were doing surgeons and for the medical school, what they used to do was when a body died, they would get the body and they would sell it to the doctors to do exploratory surgery on to learn about the body. But they ran out of bodies, so what they ended up doing was murdering. They started grave robbing to do it. Then when they ran out of graves, they started murdering people and selling the bodies. Look it up. It's very famous.
I really feel like
Scotland,
this
anyway.
can synergize with a hitman business where you're taking money on both sides.
Yeah. What? There was an anecdote.
You don't want to
about-
mix business and pleasure.
Speaking of which, did you know that the Dread Pirate Roberts from the Silk Road, which was a dark web market where you could buy guns and drugs and hitmen, he was released. Trump
was pardoned.
Trump pardoned him.
Law and Order, guys. We're for Law and Order.
What in the fuck did I join to? Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Pretty sure that's from my ex got her tank and rockets.
Adios.
Your ex had a tank and rockets?
Yeah, she's a hitman.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Oh, wait. It didn't make sense again.
I
Tank
mean,
of what?
those are toys, not tools.
Like you said, business and pleasure.
Yeah.
And isn't the preferred term hit person?
I think it's gender neutral. I think
Oh,
I think
hitman.
hitman is gender neutral.
Oh, because you're hitting a man, as long as you don't hit women. That's just wrong.
Or it's a title, maybe?
Murkov, could we get confirmation on hitman being gender neutral?
I guess. I mean, I don't know.
I feel like that's gender language. I don't know. I don't know if I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, according to the U.S., we're all women now.
Yeah, that's true. We're all technically women.
I told my mother that Trump signed an executive order saying there's only two genders now. And my mother said, oh, they and them? Thought that was a very good choice.
It's not gender neutral.
Ah, shit.
We need to talk about hit woman.
I'm gonna go kill myself now.
No!
No. No,
Don't
actually,
worry,
it's
his
okay.
dog apparently will eat his corpse. No.
Mm-hmm. You didn't even get to sell his corpse to me.
That's true.
There's
Such
a Reddit
waste.
post about that. What is the gender neutral term?
I need to know what to call a non-binary hit person. Hit person, I guess.
But person is... Never mind.
Contract killer.
Nah,
Contract
fuck that.
killer? That's
Hitman
good.
sounds better.
It does.
It's like I'm not gonna call someone not
All
a
right, let us
mailman if they're
let
a
us
woman.
admit that a hitman is in fact a very patriarchal job.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
How woke the hitman community is.
Real easy to poison people when they're not expecting it.
It's true.
Okay, are there any other good ideas, bad ideas, anything you would talk about?
How are things going in the rooms for you guys?
Well, Ragnar's still wandering around.
Mm.
Remember that kid? that we were in Tort's room.
Mhm.
The one that thought doesn't. No, you won't. Elder will. Talking about heliocentrism. Because we were talking about God, and he was trying to, prove God and everything. Ragnar was in that room, and remember, I told him the kid. He wasn't a kid. He was 18 years old. Didn't understand what heliocentrism was, or even basic science. And he'd been at it for 15, 20 minutes. And I told him, I was trying to explain to him what heliocentrism was, and I told him to fuck off and die because I'd had enough. So Ragnar's got that recorded. And sorry, darling, I'm just telling you what
Yeah.
Ragnar's got that recorded up on YouTube. That's
So
what the
Andy-
report. That's what he was going to report me for.
Andy, you forgot to say that's what he deep faked you saying.
Or
Oh,
that
I
you,
said
you
it.
said in Roblox.
don't admit to it, Andy. It's a
No,
Just
no,
say
I said
it.
it.
Very bad at lying.
Andy,
I
just
don't
say
lie.
it was an expression, not a proposition.
There you go.
It
that
was
makes
an
more
expression. It
sense.
literally was an expression.
There you go. So no threat was made.
Can't stand stupid people. I'm fed up to the back teeth of them.
Oh,
But that's what
Andy.
that's what the I'm going to report you was about. Because I
Yeah.
just went and had a look.
So next time, recognize
Like I'm
your
worried.
emotions. Let's go to that ruler system again.
That's right, the ruler system.
It's a man who's dying, who's bitter at the world. That's all this is.
Yeah. So recognize your emotions, right? Identify that you're feeling that first. Understand where it's coming from, and then label it. Can we see the label chart?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, why is my picture
So-
doing that?
That's a
Bad.
question.
Oh, is
Oh,
this
that's
somebody?
cool.
Oh, that's
No.
cool.
Is that your
It was
hentai, bro?
cool.
Oh, sorry.
No, that was a self-portrait.
Yeah, it just happened to be in my camera reel. So shit. Remind me never to do.
Just happened to
use
be.
that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Just
no,
we have
happened
more
to
it's
be.
actually
pictures?
on my
Do-
desktop. So, oh
And
no.
what if Andy followed the ruler
Mm-hmm.
construct and still landed on enraged because this guy did not understand what heliocentrism or
Frustrated.
well, no
not
one.
enraged.
Yeah, there you go. So bringing it down from enraged to furious to angry to irritated. If you're irritated with them and you're like, yeah, fuck off and die, something like that. That's something that means something quite different than just being like letting them win essentially at ginning you up.
Yeah, instead of
And so-
furious, you
But
should be disappointed.
Andy, why are you so mad? Heliocentrism is bullshit anyway. Like, it's not.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah.
I'm kidding.
I wasn't
Speaking
mad.
of
I
knobs.
was frustrated.
knobs.
The guy had literally just would not. He just kept gish galloping and gish galloping and gish galloping and gish
It's
galloping.
right there. It's a
You
little
should
higher
just block
angle.
And
him. You
then-
should just block
Yeah.
him, though, right? Like,
I did
Higher-
eventually. That's just right after I said that. That's why I said it, because I went fuck off and die and blocked him and he disappeared.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah,
So
you need to get a
that's
little
higher
better.
energy than
account.
anger, right?
when the Zuck gets you.
No, it wasn't. It was frustration. Anger's different.
Well, yeah, go back to the chart.
Yep. Let's see. Do.
Okay, so frustration's a little higher energy, right? But it's just as unpleasant as anger. See? So
well.
if you can bring this down.
Oh dear.
yeah.
I did. I blocked him.
Well, that is called setting boundaries. It's a very reasonable thing to do. And when interpersonally people are upsetting you, setting a boundary using the block button.
Yeah. Do
It's
that
reasonable.
before you say the thing that might get you
right.
kicked.
I'm
By
sorry,
the
guys.
time-
No,
I
with,
know.
with all due respect, right? With all due respect, no.
I know.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I know. We just love
By
you,
the time-
and
Should
we
fuck
don't
up and die.
want any
No, no,
mod
no,
to
no,
have
no,
an
no.
excuse.
I was not going to sit in there and analyze and think, now, how should I approach this? The guy who wasn't a kid was an
That's right.
adult, because we'd already established that, started being smart-assed and just wouldn't shut up and didn't understand basic science and was literally a moron.
So when you
Think
get
about it.
irritated like that, right? It's time to set boundaries before you say things that can get you banned, because
Well,
you
that's
don't
not going to
wanna
get me
banned.
banned.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
It might get you banned. Depends.
It
It's
also
not
it's
up and down.
not the
depends on the Zuck, bro. The Zuck
It's
sometimes
all-
gets you.
yeah. It's
Oh, well,
also not. It's not the perfect. It's not where you
Oh,
can
God,
grow.
here we
Like if
go
you
again.
want to be angry at people, it's fine. right? But if you don't want to be, if you don't feel like you're being most impactful there, you can notice these things and stop yourself before you get there.
Andy, do you smoke weed, bro? You should. I feel like
Used to.
you tried it recently. You should might help you out with. I'm an angry person.
Why
too.
is everybody ever so concerned about how I am? Please mind your own business. Okay?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Andy, I hear in your voice that you're getting irritated.
I'm sorry.
I am very irritated.
That's understandable. That's
I'm
understandable.
sick of people tone policing me, and I'm getting really fed up with it.
But
That's
it's
reasonable.
just part of society, right? People are gonna annoy you, and
You Americans bleat on about free speech, and then when you hear something that you don't, and I don't mean you guys in here, I'm generalizing here, right? And then when somebody says something you don't like, you start clutching your pearls. Well, I don't give a shit, quite frankly. I ain't American, and I don't talk like you. And if you don't like it, block me. I give not one shit.
no,
Okay.
I'm
So
just,
some
I'm
went
just
from
more about for
annoyed
you, bro.
to
From
enraged.
like,
Yeah.
it's not healthy to live this way. Because I'm an angry person too.
I'm 62 years old and extremely healthy, so on that premise, you are wrong.
Okay. So
Okay.
the question is, what are your goals? If you're happy with and you feel like you're meeting your
Keeping
goals, there's
breathing.
there's really nothing else to be said about it there. But let's say someone else was really frustrated, getting up to the point where they're starting to get furious. If they start to take a breath and pay attention to the air filling their lungs and then let it out slowly, not only does that help someone turn down whatever emotion they've got to get back to center, there you go, it also makes the other person incredibly angry at you, and you get to win.
Yeah. But also,
Because if
sorry,
Mhm.
I was gonna say
if
that
you've been building up one after another emotionally, they're trying to push you so far that they win. So if you level it down, they're stuck by themselves up here.
yes. Also, I was going to say that Big Screen is not necessarily a free speech platform because hate speech is not acceptable because this is the servers of Big Screen. This is a
What
private
speech?
enterprise run by Big
Yeah.
Screen. They have the right to,
For now.
to dictate what is free speech. And then also saying death, not really saying death threats, but saying,
Free
hey,
speech
go
only
kill
has to
yourself
do with the
isn't
government.
necessarily a good way to handle things
But
because
I
that
think Meta gets
encourages
money
people
from
to
the government.
use that.
Not what
I
that.
think
And
Trump's
then
trying to make it so
Hey,
that.
hey. I'm saying
It
that
does encourage people to use it in an angry way.
exactly.
Sorry,
People
Murkoff has
would
the floor.
absolutely say it to gay people or trans people or other marginalized groups, and then be like, "Well, Andy said it."
Yeah, but
I'm playing
was
devil's
right.
advocate
No.
mostly, but
I was gonna say
Well,
that's a
they're not-
bad idea or a good idea.
Okay.
Discussion. Sorry, Dr. Science. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Look, if one Scotsman saying angry things is going to say that means I become a Nazi, I don't think that's how that works. But in general, we would want someone that comes in here and says kill gay people to not be here anymore. So we want to be aware of like cultural differences, like Andy keeps bringing up, but also aware of people that are being hateful without
Andy
using
just
that
didn't want
language.
that guy to be here either.
I-
And by here, I mean in existence.
I don't want him dead. I just don't want him alive anymore.
No, he doesn't want him in his presence. That was gonna be a bad idea. Like, or maybe not a bad idea. Maybe it's a good idea. Telling someone to fuck off and die. Is it so terrible? You know, I don't literally want you to die. I just want you not to.
No.
We're all
around
gonna
me.
die
Exactly,
eventually.
exactly,
There's nothing wrong
exactly.
with it, Andy said, yeah.
I tell you what, right? I fuck off
Wait.
and die as well. I don't care.
You're in the upper left quadrant. Tell me where right now, Andy. Like,
Now, what word would you use to say? Would you
He's
say that you're frightened?
Peeved. He's
I made a
peeved.
new box up there. Just
yeah, that's a good box. It says Scottish.
Is unfuckable in this anywhere?
Andy, to be fair, it's nowhere on the graph. I'm not angry. I'm not mad. I'm not.
Hi, Mr. Calm.
Here, I'm gonna have Mr. Let's. I think we're good on the stream.
Okay, cool. It's been a wonderful night, and if you want to look at
shit! We were streaming.
Oh, we're being recorded.
somebody
People heard my
$1
billion-dollar business idea. You're gonna have to go through it and bleep out the fine details so they
Okay,
can't
I'll go back to
decipher
the
it.
YouTube re-upload.
I'm fucked.
Mr.
I'm
Kong.
cooked.
You're
I'm not
cooked.
gonna make any money now.
Everyone go to Teach Progress.